Yeah, good morning. Anyways, I'd like to, just before this video starts, just throw some information as to why I haven't been on YouTube for a few days. One is camera. I don't like these. I hate these things. The batteries don't last. They're temperamental. If you talk, they turn on. If you talk, they shut off. They're just GoPro. Anyway, yeah, so I just kind of been really busy and haven't had the time to get on here and post any videos because I have been working, doing things that I shouldn't be doing and doing them under the radar, as best I can. So if you know what I've been doing, then you'll understand. But anyway, I won't divulge it here. But anyhow, so I want to make a couple of videos. Possibly today. I'm going to post some stuff tomorrow about what my thoughts on the corn fodder job were, the total bale numbers and stuff like that, and just kind of rock and roll with that. But we do have some damage on the 8120. Timothy and Cody dropped my hood. I didn't want them to take it off, but they took it completely off and broke my hood. I'm not happy. But whatever, what can I do? And then, of course, there's the footage of the repairs that we did to the tractor as to why the hood was off. And there's no repairs actually being done in this video, so if you don't want to see me talk about what we did, then you can click off now. That's perfectly fine by me. I think I'm recording. What do you think, Tim? You think I'm recording? I am recording. Okay, so I haven't really spoke much about the Westendorf loader. Have I, Tim? You did change this one out too, right?
Yeah, I changed both of them out.
Good. Okay, so we've had this loader for a little more than a year. These are the takeoffs for it. When you take it off of the tractor or whatnot, it just flipped that thing down and it stands there, which is really good. 8120 is a little bit naked right now. It has no bonnet if you're from England or Europe or wherever they call them bonnets. But this is what we call a hood. Now, Timothy and Cody decided that they would drop my very expensive hood, and they broke it, which I'm still a little upset about.
Slightly dropped because...
Well, you dropped it.
I was trying to come over here when I was underneath it, and it was goddamn heavy. I came to around here, and that's when I collapsed. It was right here. This much. And that's how it did that.
Yeah, well, they're not really designed to be dropped. Anyway, whatever. Okay, so why would we have the hood off? Do you know why we would have the hood off?
To access it.
To access what is going on here, which we fixed it. And I didn't film any of it because, you know what? It doesn't matter what I do anymore. People criticize me to the point that I'm a jackass, and it's okay because sometimes I can just do a job and I don't need to teach people over it because my loyal subscribers need to attack the assholes that attack me, and then I'll just film everything. I'm joking. No, I just didn't feel like grabbing the camera. Actually, I didn't know where this camera was, and to use my cell phone, it's just a pain in the neck. So anyways, that's the real reason. Don't take it the wrong way. But right there, it's a very common problem. That's the transmission input shaft. It comes off the engine. You have your flywheel here, and then you have a dampener, and then not a dampener pulley, just a dampener, and then that goes into the input shaft, or the input coupler that goes into the input shaft. Well, between the coupler and the shaft, there is a oil seal that needs to be replaced every once in a great while. Not a big problem. Only when you drop my hood. So anyway, so I had the boys doing that. Look at the oil. That's not from that. That's from something different. So with the Westendorf loader, and I know I'm a little all over the place here in this video because I forgot how to do videos. I haven't done them in a couple of days, but from the Westendorf, you have these Hydra snaps, which I find to be quite decent. They should be cleaner than what this was. I don't know why Tim didn't clean it up.
I did clean them up.
Oh my God, this looks like monkeys have been humping it. But anyway, so the Hydra snap, that controls everything, including the front attachments, because I do have the extra two valves, or the pressure valves up in the front, pressure and return, for the grabbers, and they work quite well actually. I haven't really done too much of a video on those, but that works really good. The loader from day one, and I hate to say it, but from day one has had a problem that I don't have time to deal with for the most part, and the other thing was the Westendorf company didn't know how to deal with it. So it was really weird because when I got the thing and I started it, everything worked as it should, seemingly as it should. It would pick up 3 bales without any problems. It would, I didn't have to worry about selective control valves and things like that. I had no problems with that. But then when the tractor would warm up, and things would get hot, all of a sudden, I couldn't control the loader anymore. And it just wasn't tripping the signal valve to the tractor. So what I did was I called the company up, Westendorf, and I said, hey, I've got a problem here. This thing isn't tripping the signal valve. And they're like, oh, really? Oh, okay. Here, have a new valve. Boom. So I got a new valve, I put it on, and we put that all on, me and Tim cursed and swore, like some of you may have seen on Instagram a few minutes ago. We cursed and swore at it then, and we put it all back together again, and the son of a bitch didn't work at all. I still had to do the selective control valve. I would have to signal the valve by engaging continuously one of the selective control valves, which annoys the ever-loving piss out of me. So I called Westendorf. I called Westendorf up about a week or two before I went to Maryland and Virginia to do this corn fodder job. And they were looking for their valve back. They wanted their valve back. And I was like, well, I'll give you your valve back when you get my loader to work and function the way it's supposed to. And they were like, what? Wait, what? I was like, yeah, this thing hasn't run right since day one. I've called your engineering department. They've given me really seemingly nothing to get it to go right. There was a little valve that was underneath there for the signaling valve, which they had me remove and put in regular couplers, T-couplers and stuff. I put those in. That didn't help. When you can figure this out, then I'll give you your valves back. A little blackmail there. Yeah, blackmail. So, anyway, I go to... Oh, you haven't put those shields on yet. Those shields?
Yeah.
Hydro-snap shields?
Yeah.
Hydro-snap shields, put those on. So, anyway, out of the blue... While I'm away, I get these new blocks, these new Hydro-snap blocks. So this is the side that goes to the loader, and I got the side that stays with the tractor. Those things work really, really well, by the way. I like them. Watch, he just snapped that sucker right off of there. See that? And that's the storage port. He's going to put the bolts on there. Make sure you make them nice and tight. I would actually put some Loctite on them because, if I remember right, the last one's loosened up and fell off.
Oh no, they were on there tight.
Okay. All right, well, which ones broke? Was it these? Was it these here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Those were loose.
Okay, they were loose. All right, so anyways, I really like those. So they sent me these new Hydro-snaps. And I thought, okay, Timothy, go ahead and put it on. He put it on. There were some things that he didn't do that we will not mention because I was a little upset yesterday with Timothy because he told me he had done something and he didn't do it. But whatever, we won't talk about that, right, Tim?
Yes.
Here's another thing I had to replace. This has to get put back on the... Yeah, put back on it. Anyway, yeah, so we do all that work. He puts it on. He tells me it's functioning correctly, but in reality, it wasn't because somebody didn't do what I asked them to do. So now that we're done talking about it, I called Allie out at Westendorf. I seem to get the most out of her. And I called Allie this morning and I said, hey, I've got this problem.
Yeah.
And she's like, let me get a hold of the engineering department and I will call you right back. I was like, cool. All right. That's not what I'm looking for. I want to show you. Okay. So Allie sends me an email, right? she sends me an email and she says, "Hey Wesley, check this out." He said, "Right here, number 7? Yeah, number 7, right there at the tip of my finger on my phone." She says, "Could you disassemble your valve?" I'm like, "Okay." I don't think Allie has ever touched one of these things. I'm sure she has seen them, but I don't think she's ever touched them. This is not something you do in, say, 15 minutes.
No.
This thing is a cluster effing mess from hell. There are 3 different valves that are married into a housing that is a proverbial rooster fish to get apart and put back together, alongside the hydro snap and all that other great stuff. So number 7,
right there,
just so happens to be this guy. She says it's either going to be broken off or missing or malfunctioning. So as you can see, this one here is quite stubby. Well, this is the one that we had put in to replace the original one that had on there that was functioning and didn't function. So my thoughts are, it's broke off. You can see how short that is. It actually broke the threaded end off. In my mind, I think when the person that put the valve together actually over-tightened it and broke that off because it never worked for me. Now, this is the one that came originally with the machine. All right. So, as you can see, maybe not. I'm going to try and get it to focus on there. Come on, baby. Come on. You see the shiny part? I mean, you're not going to be able to see too much. You see that shiny part? Those are stripped out threads. I really wish you could see that. Come on, you miserable beast. Anyways, those threads are stripped out. They are stripped out because whoever put it in there, they either misaligned it or whatnot, but I could not, for the life of me, get this to re-thread into this valve. So all there is a little ball valve in there. So when I, excuse the weirdness, I gotta give me a rag, right? When I bought this loader, I made the mistake of ordering it without the self-leveling valve. So I had just a regular valve in there, and it wasn't self-leveling. And I was supposed to return it to Westendorf, but they never sent me a return label. So I just kept it. It's in the back of the shop there. So I kept it back there. And that just so happened to be this whole entire body right here. This is where your cables tie in, and it's there. So what I did was I went to the back of the shop where the returnable valve was, because I need this tractor. I don't need it sitting. I don't need that loader sitting up in the field. I needed this loader on this tractor when I was down in Virginia and Maryland, because there's piles that fell over that Mr. Tim should have cleaned up and stuff like that. But anyway, I couldn't take it because it wasn't functioning correctly. So what I did was I called Allie back and I said, "Hey, these valves, these little valves, they're broken and they need to be replaced, but the whole valve is screwed up because this one, from riding around inside there, all rounded over and made a mess out of it, has been through the valve. It's junk. That valve is junk," which I believe is this one. No, that's, yeah, this one. This is the one that's junk. That one is where this one came out of. And this is the one that was put in. This is the original one. I said, "Hey, but I do have the original non-self-leveling one that I can make it work with the self-leveling valve, which is underneath that housing there." And where is it? So the self-leveling valve is this guy right here. Okay? That's this right here. And because this is the original valve. Yeah, so they will be getting this and that back at some point when they send me a return label for it. But so this is it. This one's junk. That one's junk. This one here is the remnants of a self-leveling valve that was already on there. And this is the one that was actually broken. It was in here. And, well, you can see, where is that thing? Here's the plug. This the plug? Yeah, here's the plug. See where that thing was riding in there? It's all eroded away from banging around in there from hydraulic use. Thousands and thousands of bales of straw and hay. So anyway, so now we've got this all back together again. I do have to clean the tractor. I might just leave the hood off of it and have Timothy clean it. It'd be easier, I think. And then we've got the wraps to wrap the hoses all up. Got to wrap those hoses all up and get them all nice and tidied up again because we cut all the wire ties completely off of them. But that's a job for tomorrow. And Tim's got to clean up his stuff. But yeah, anyway, we started the tractor up, and the signaling valve is now working because it's working. It's actually doing what it's supposed to do. Obviously, we haven't put it on the loader. The Hydra Snap did have problems. Where is the old Hydra Snap?
It's over there.
It's over here. Okay, so the old... All right, where's over here? The old Hydra Snap had problems, which may be attributed to that valve, pieces of that valve coming apart and actually screwing it up. You can see this one here and this one here are depressed. This one's depressed. It didn't come flush. And the same with this one. This one's depressed, and so is this one depressed. So, and this one here is kind of funky as well. So what I'm thinking is that bits and pieces from that valve coming apart and breaking up had actually gotten in there and caused these to actually leak. And that was, well, I know for a fact that something was cross-leaking because sometimes that loader would lift up and drop really quickly, like it should, and other times, the majority of the time, it was slow as molasses. And, you know, not to say anything bad about Westendorf, but it took a long time, over a year, to get this thing somewhat straightened out, and I'm not even done yet. And it did also cost me a pump, the charge pump. I put a new charge pump in here. Don't even ask me how much that thing cost. I put that on there because they had told me that it was possibly my tractor, which I knew that it wasn't, and I proved that it wasn't because I put the new charge pump in. It did solve the whining noise because that pump had like 7,000 hours on it. There's nothing wrong with that pump, but I took it off, put the new one on, and yippee skippy. Nothing repaired. So it did cost me thousands and thousands of dollars and a lot of time, and I wasn't happy about it. But guess what? I think we've got it now, and if it does do it again, there's a record of it being a problem or a faulty issue, a faulty part. And so far, Westendorf has made up for all the giblets that we've had problems with. So anyways, that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe for more. If you haven't subscribed, please do so because it helps.